Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy.
This is the Bare Bones
podcast.
Oh. Did you hear that one?
You did that on purpose.
Oh, it tastes like chemicals. And that fart smells like the Black Death. Hi, everyone. This is David.
Sadly, this is Vicky here with this one.
Coming back at you. More of these sick jams. And I'm going to move this a little closer to us. I'm probably fucking up the audio, but whatever. It's not like we're an audio-based media.
Correct.
I need more energy. I took that nap earlier, and I just feel like a corpse.
One coffee
Which
down.
Which is why I'm drinking this Uptime.
Not sponsored.
Bare Bones Podcast. Brought to you by Uptime. When you need a little up in your life. It's got a picture of like a head with bubbles in it, and I think oh no, that's gears. Oh, it makes sense now.
Are your gears turning?
We're just going to move on. Alright, we're going to move on. So there are various apocalypse scenarios from different cultures around the world. For instance, there's the famous Book of Revelations from the Christian Bible that tells the end of our human world and the coming of Christ's new kingdom. Some believers claim that is 100% truth. Others claim it's just a bunch of allegory. Any comments, Miss Catholic?
None so far.
Do you believe in your Jewish warlock and his end of the world scenario?
There's no warlock.
I don't know. I know all you're thinking about today is Argentina playing in the Copa America.
Copa America.
Whatever. Capo?
Copa.
Donde está el baño? The Scandinavians had their own version of the apocalypse, Ragnarok. It would be a massive battle between the gods and several monsters that would eventually lead to the death of all the Norse gods. There's also much more modern apocalypse scenarios, such as Y2K, otherwise known as the year 2000 problem. The theory was that due to computers storing data as two-digit numbers, such as 1998 equaling 98, the year 2000 would be indistinguishable from the year 1900. This would mess up any number of programming within computer systems. It could potentially mess with infrastructure and other mass computer systems. President Bill Clinton put many programmers to work trying to correct the issue within every computer system they could think of, calling it, quote, the first challenge of the 21st century successfully met, unquote. The year 2000 came about, but no world ended that day.
Well, duh, we're here talking now.
Yeah. I feel like even with that explanation, I still don't totally understand like how it would just destroy computers. Like I understand like the dating would be really off, and maybe like things like banking and stuff would be thrown off, but like I don't know, the little bit of reading I did on Y2K, it really made it sound like people were thinking, oh my god, like planes are gonna fall from the sky. And I don't really get how dates being messed up would lead to stuff like that.
Same.
Oh. It's like the taste gets worse every time I drink it.
Stop drinking it?
No, but I need caffeine. Yeah, no, I kept seeing mentions of like, oh well, the infrastructure is going to be so destroyed by the system.
Yeah, I was like, how is the infrastructure going to be impacted by that?
I don't know. Okay, I ain't one of them computer doctors. Okay. There was also the Mayan calendar, which ended at December 21st, 2012. Various astronomical alignments and numerical formula were proposed for this date. A New Age interpretation held that the date marked the start of a period during which Earth and its inhabitants would undergo a positive physical and or spiritual transformation, and that 21st December 2012 would mark the beginning of a new era. Okay, question. Do you remember the whole 2012 fiasco? Like, everybody being so into it. I don't remember anybody, like, legit believing the world's gonna end, but...
It was just kind of everywhere in the news.
It was kind of just a meme, you know? Like, everybody talked about it, and it was just like a...
World's gonna end.
Yeah, it was like a pop culture thing. And, yeah, that's really all I remembered, but nobody ever really gave, like, a reason why the world would end. It was just, well, the Mayans said. Others suggested that the date marked the end of the world or a similar catastrophe. Scenarios suggested for the end of the world included the arrival of the next solar maximum and interaction between Earth and the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, or Earth's collision with a mythical planet called Nibiru.
None of that happened.
What is Nibiru, you may ask? Go ahead, ask it.
What is it?
No, you're supposed to say, what is Nibiru?
What is Nibiru?
Nibiru, otherwise known as Planet X, is considered the 12th planet in our solar system. But, you may ask, I thought there were only 8 planets in our solar system. What are the other 3? And my answer is that I have no fucking clue. I did so much research to try and figure out why it's the 12th planet. Nobody can tell me what planets 10 and 11 are. 9 they just claim is Pluto, of course. Nibiru is said to be larger than Earth. Many past predictions say that it will one day crash into Earth, destroying us all. What does this have to do with the Mayans? The Mayan calendar works on a cycle system. The Mayans believe that every few thousand years, the Earth restarted its cycle, rebirthing life upon itself. According to the Mayan calendar, our current cycle would end on our modern date of December 21st, 2012. Many theories were spun about what exactly would happen. Some predicted massive climate disasters across the globe, and some thought the world would have a gradual decline in both the environment and society, similar to the biblical Book of Revelations. Many actual Mayans simply believed the rebirth to be metaphoric for the spiritual rebirth of their people and culture. The leading theory within many of the more conspiracy-leaning Mayan calendar enthusiasts, however, was that our planet was on direct collision course with Nibiru. However, like Y2K, the day came and went without any massive planetary catastrophe. Enter Harold Camping. Have you ever heard that name?
No, what did he do?
So Harold founded Family Radio in 1958 with his colleague Dick Palmquist, that's his actual last name, as a fairly orthodox radio station with programs that alternated between several early American hymns, contemporary Christian music, and original evangelism like Camping's daily show Open Forum, where he responded to calling questions about the Bible. All family radio decisions were intended to be made by a 3-person board of directors, one of which was Camping. But as members retired or became too ill to continue, Camping handpicked their replacements. One member of Family Radio said that, quote, they were incapable of telling Harold no on anything. When Camping could control the network as he pleased, the doomsday predictions began. So he was just like, like how, I guess we always know like Joel Osteen, like these mega churches and stuff, but like instead of an actual church, which I'm trying to remember when I was researching him, if he actually had like a home-based church they preached from, or it was just the radio. But like,
It sounds like it's just the radio.
yeah, he had like these this radio network they controlled, and it was for like decades they did this. They just preached on the air. People talked about like, you could always tune in late at night and be able to hear like Harold Camping preaching and stuff, and he just had a really good way of talking. Camping's first prediction came in his book 1994, which talked about how the world would end in either the 4th or the 6th of December 1994. The "or" is important. It shows Harold's hesitancy in making the first prediction and owes to the question marking title of his first book. Now you may wonder, how did he come to those specific dates? Well, he took the estimated date of Jesus' birth, which apparently is April 1st, 33 AD, which is exactly 1,978 years before April 1st, 2011. And when you multiply that by a number of days within a solar year, then divide it, I can already see you starting to fade as I talk about this. We're just going to push on, but know that he had a method. I didn't really feel like I didn't really feel like writing it all down because I'm serious. It was just gobbledygook. Like I'm about 98% certain this guy just started going senile. He was like 80 something when he made this prediction, and
I feel like he got in over his head. He thinks he's
You'll see later.
He gets in his head about being like the preacher person.
He's gonna do stuff after the 90s, and like he's just a really old man who I think he really did believe his predictions. It's just he was just a crazy old man. As a result of his obsession, every episode of Open Forum between 1992 and 1994 was about the end of the world. When Family Radio wanted to send Bibles to China, Harold would only agree if they sent copies of his book with the Bibles as well. And this is where I think kind of like some of the lines start to blur between like, did he actually believe it, or was this...
He's just trying to sell his...
Yeah, because like, it was his church, but he demanded, no, you have to pay for my book to also be sent to all these people and everything. And doing research on him, it kind of flip-flopped between, oh man, he is fucking bonkers and just is grabbing on the straws, or, you know, hey, he's just trying to sell things.
I feel like it's more of a marketing thing.
I think the 1994 prediction was, like, just him trying to sell stuff, but we'll press on and you'll hear about his other predictions, and he has more later on, and those ones I think were actually legitimate. Like I think he actually believed in his own bullshit. But then again, he was like 90 years old at that point. However, as you may have pieced together already, 1994 was not the end of the world. That wouldn't stop Harold though. His apocalyptic message would die down for a bit, but he would continue crunching the numbers and refining his message for the end times. Pretty soon, Family Radio was raking in over $216 million a year in private donations alone. And Harold was ready for another try at the end of the world game. $216 million a year.
Why are people so into
And that's
it?
just from private donations. That's not even including, you know, selling books, any kind of advertisements they might have had, which I know they're a Christian radio station, but come on, they probably had advertisements.
Oh yeah, sure.
Chick-fil-A probably advertised. Chick-fil-A also advocates for gay conversion therapy and stuff like that.
But it's still one of the top companies, so...
I mean, it is delicious.
I mean, if it's fast food, like, what the fuck? I'm still gonna eat it.
I feel guilty, but I still eat it, alright? But maybe I kind of like the guilt, you know?
Makes it even better. Makes that chicken better.
It's like jerking off to nun porn, you know? Like, yeah, you sit there and you're like, man, maybe this is wrong, but like, you kind of like it because it's wrong? You know? How often do you masturbate to porn videos of nuns?
Who the fuck does that?
You grew up Catholic. You probably have Catholic issues. Come on.
No.
Alrighty then.
This ain't turning into a therapy session.
Just me then, okay.
You weren't even Catholic.
I wasn't, but I still think Sister Agatha needing her pussy ate is pretty hot, alright? She needs to punish that Catholic schoolgirl. Make her suck her toes or something.
You're gonna turn on a lot of weirdos out there on the internet.
I hope I do. May 21st, 2011. The date was plastered everywhere. Park bench ads were purchased around the country. Over 3,000 billboards were installed around the world. And a 5-car caravan toured America and Canada, handing out pamphlets that prepped unbelievers for the end. Quote, "We had a pool of about $100 million, and Harold spent it like no tomorrow." So, I didn't hear about this until like a few years ago, because 2011 I was 12, 13, and like I didn't really notice, but like this was right before 2012, and like it was a thing just everywhere, like all around highways and stuff. There was giant billboards saying like this date, May 21st, like end of the world, repent now, stuff like that. And yeah, people were going out because there's like touring preacher groups. I mean, at Sam Houston there was the one that always came and just screamed at gay people and girls because they really hated women.
There was something else. Of course, it's always the freshmen trying to like make them angry.
Yeah, but like people would come and fuck with them, and it's like, guys, just ignore them.
I know, for
like,
real.
That's the whole reason. For everyone listening out there, don't go fuck with the preacher people. Not to be nice, like fuck those guys, really. But like, just because they're hoping you fuck with them, they want you to fuck with them. So that then they can record it and then put it on the internet and be like, look, I'm a victim. These people are suppressing me. Because they just get off. Like evangelists, they get off on the idea of being victims. Yeah, they're always the ones being wronged. So, Harold's message was that the holy would be raptured into heaven, while sinners would be left on earth to endure 5 months of earthquakes, firestorms, wars, and more. This would all be started by the most massive earthquake the planet had ever seen, erupting somewhere around the prime meridian on 21st May 2011. It was interesting too, because a lot of articles I read pointed out how like there was other people who were making prophecies about the end of the world around this time. However, because 2012 got so popular, a lot of people revised their dates and changed them to 2012 to match the popular media because they thought they could get more people to believe them. Harold didn't, and that was one of the things that kind of still leads to some people thinking maybe he sincerely believed it, because he didn't change his date even though it was so close. It was only like a year and a half off of 2011 date, or 2012. God damn it. Oh, now it's warm. This uptime
Stop holding it.
Really warm. Well, I'm putting it on my crotch,
Ew.
and it's getting nice and warm down there. You want to be on my crotch?
No.
It's seen some Catholic nuns.
Go on.
Moving on. Who donated to this stuff? One report said that a New York transportation agency worker donated $150,000 of his life savings to the movement.
Why? How stupid do you have to be?
The strangest thing was just how far Harold's message reached. Family Radio received donations from all types of races, ethnic backgrounds, and socioeconomic standings.
People would rather donate their money to this dude than
Yeah.
have money for dinner.
I mean, it's end of the world anyway, right? It can't be understated. This thing was big. With over 3,000 billboards across the country, it became something of an early meme. With the internet booming in the late 2000s, early 2010s, users all over took time to pay homage to camping and his apocalypse movement. There were ads of people claiming they would care for raptured individuals' pets after they left. Some of those were actually serious, and it was kind of sad. Houses went up for sale. Belongings were given away on Craigslist. Some people online planned to throw their clothes out on the street on May 21st to give the appearance they had been raptured. There's actually a funny video of a dude that he went out in a crowd of like the evangelist people, and he threw out, it was like a balloon with a sex doll tied to it, and then he went on his knees. In the video, he's on his knees, and he's like, "No, I should have been better. No, take me too." Like, there was tons of people having fun. Oh, there was one. It was like an advertisement that somebody was trying to organize an orgy for that day. Like people were being dumb with it. It became a meme, you know. However, as before, May 21st came and went.
I bet all those people that...
And the world was still here. Vice News, after getting an agreement weeks prior from Harold Camping that he would do an interview on the 22nd if the world did not end, reached out for said interview but received no comment. That was funny. They made a really scathing article about him on the 22nd because he told them, like, "Oh yeah, I believe in my theory so much. If it doesn't happen, I'll give you an interview on the 22nd. And when the 22nd came, they tried reaching out, and he just ignored them.
He's hiding because he's wrong.
And again, that goes into, I think he was serious about this. How much time? Huh, we're actually doing pretty good on time. Family Radio, after this massive spending spree, saw their profits start plummeting. By late 2011, they only received around $6.2 million in donations that year.
Who the fuck is still donating to
Only $6.2 million. That sounds like a lot, but it takes $26.9 million to operate Family Radio. But it was not just the fact that many of their once devoted fans turned against them after his fiasco. Camping had literally convinced many of his followers to drain their bank accounts.
That's on their fault for being that stupid in the first place.
God, you were cruel.
I'm just saying, like, it's common sense.
Family Radio listeners literally just had no money left. One caller in the open forum said, quote, "You're really pathetic, you know? I wasted all my money because of you. I was putting all my money and my hopes on you. I wish I could see you face to face. I would smack you, Mr. Camping. You always say a lot of redacted. I lost all my money because of you. You redacted." I wonder what he said. Camping said his math was off. The real date was October 21st.
Oh, is it?
He swears this time. Honestly, I wish I could tell you the reasoning in math he did to find this, but I got nothing for you. I am pretty certain at this point he was a mix of senile and reeling from the backlash of his previous prediction. I seriously did try and figure out because all he did was claim his math was off, but he didn't say how he fixed it. He just all of a sudden was like,
now you're all of a sudden wrong.
Yeah, it's October now. Those who still followed Camping had an intense cognitive dissonance. Quote, "There was this one guy who worked on Silicon Valley and designed computer chips. I asked him what he was going to do on October 21st. He said, I got to go to work. I have a time-sensitive deadline to meet." Unquote. That is so Silicon Valley. He's some dude that's just like, yeah, I legit think the end of the world's coming, but I still got to go to work. Silicon Valley are fucking robots. But once again, the date came, nothing happened.
Shock.
What happened to Harold, you may ask? Well, he didn't get fired from Family Radio because he resigned from them about a week prior to his second end of the world prediction in October. Sometime later, Camping would admit in a radio interview that he was wrong and should have adhered to Matthew chapter 4, quote, "No man will know the hour or date of the end times," unquote. In December of 2013, Camping would die at the age of 92. His legacy still preserves, however. While family radio has distanced itself from Harold Camping in order to rebuild relations with listeners and partners, an organization known as E-Bible Fellowship, started by an ex-family radio member, Chris McCann, has taken up the mantle of continuing Camping's teachings.
Is he gonna
Can
go
you guess
on
what
about the
happened?
end of the world?
On 27th December 2015, Chris McCann stated, after a rare blood moon had appeared in the night sky, that the world would end by fire that next Wednesday, October 7th, 2015. He had some real balls. He was like, nope, it's gonna happen in a week. And I do actually remember that because there was the blood moon in the sky and all these like religious leaders were like, oh my god, it's a sign of revelations and like whatever. But yeah, it's I can't totally tell you if Camping actually believed in this stuff or if he was just making money off it. I think maybe it was kind of a mix of both.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a mix of both, and then he got so into it, he started believing his own lies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of sad at the end, like the October prediction. I feel like at that point, he was just desperate. And I think he was surrounded by a lot of yes men who, you know, that one quote they were saying, like, nobody told him no. Nobody.
Well, maybe he would react a certain way.
It wasn't until he put the almost bankrupted the company and was created this major embarrassment that finally people started pressing back against him.
He deserved to come downhill.
Crazy.
Okay, you know what this reminded me of?
What?
Doomsday Preppers.
Oh, I love Doomsday Preppers. Because I love hearing people's... Oh,
It's fine.
Mike's falling.
No, it's not. It's fine.
But I love Doomsday Preppers because I love the reasoning some of the people give for, like, the end of the world happening.
Like, they think the world's gonna end, but, like, when?
Yeah!
Like, when?
I also like... some of them, their reasoning on it, it'll just be stuff that'll be like, yeah, dude, like, I think that would be, you know, a tough situation, but I don't think people are gonna immediately start killing themselves because, you know, XYZ happened. I think some of these people who are, like, obsessed with the end of the world, for them, it's interesting because I've talked to people who will tell you straight up, oh, I think mankind is inherently like evil and cruel, and if society collapsed, then people would just start like killing each other and stealing things from each other. And a lot of actual data says the opposite. That humans are most humans are naturally kind to each other, and like they will actually help each other. It was a study that was done concerning Hurricane Katrina, when like New Orleans, they had a lot of like gangster type guys and stuff, and when the hurricane hit and there was a lot of people hurt, a lot of those guys ended up dropping their feuds so they could all go and help move people into like hospitals and stuff, and people actually stopped and helped each other, and it owes to, there's a lot of statistics showing that, like I said, people are naturally inclined to be kind to each other. So if the end of the world did happen, I don't think it would be as chaotic as some people think.
It's not like the Purge where everyone
goes
crazy.
The Purge would not happen. And it's interesting too, because a lot of these people I've talked to who think that, they're also like very evangelical, like religious, you know? Because that's a fundamental part of Christianity is, mankind is flawed and evil, and so you kind of have to believe that people are going to be naturally evil to each other in order to believe.
It's also important to remember, humans, we're social creatures.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense for us to be evil to each other when We're naturally social.
We thrive when we're around others in social situations. Like, if someone's alone, you know, they're not going to do as well as those who are.
Yeah, it's why solitary confinement is like one of the worst tortures.
Yeah,
ever.
exactly.
Oh, it's horrible what it does to people. Well, that's all I got. If you guys,
a ride.
if you guys like the show, give us a like, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. I sometimes upload to SoundCloud. I'll be honest, I kind of forget.
Note, most of the time we're joking, we're not being serious, aka the nun stuff.
I do want to make a note about I'm currently in the process of trying to get us onto Spotify and Apple Music and a few other websites. The record label that I'm going through to get them, they only when I upload to the label, it takes 2 weeks for my upload to become public. And so I'm having a little trouble trying to time this stuff out. So if you're a listener on Spotify, just know that, or Apple Music or anything like that, just know that it's gonna be a little hectic, the upload.
Just stay
cycle.
on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube will be every Friday. That's pretty easy. But like the Spotify one, it's gonna be a little chaotic. But
That's it.
yeah. Right.
Maybe tomorrow's the end of the world.
Oh man, we gotta talk about next Thursdayism. It's a theory that the world, or last Thursdayism. It's the theory that the entire world and everything in it was created last Thursday. You can't prove it wrong.
We'll find out.
All right, see ya.